Alright, so at the beginning of the episode, we can see Gordon taking on a large supply of coal.
That's the third load of coal you've had today, Gordon.
James's leading wheels are derailed.
Some might say you're being rather greedy.
Gordon's buffers are crooked. And one of his stripes is peeling off.
Important engines need plenty of coal, but I doubt if you would understand that, James. James snorted and went about his work.
Did you notice that? James moved slightly forward, and then he went away. His eyes were also wonky. And the steam was rising under his trucks. Later, Gordon was taking on water from a standpipe because the water tower was under repair.
Out of order? Bother, said Thomas. I'm thirsty.
Before we continue, I want to point out one strange detail. At the beginning of this scene, we could see Edward in the background. But did you notice that he's for some reason wearing his annoyed face mask? Is he having a bad day? Or the trucks are making him angry? What do you think?
I wouldn't drink too much of that water if I were you.
Duck's eyes are wonky.
Gordon, it might give you boiler ache. What's this? Educating Gordon Day. First James and now you, Duck. Big engines have big needs. Little engines are just annoying. Don't say I didn't warn you, laughed Duck. Later, Gordon steamed into the yard at the big station.
Actually, this big station are random ducks. There, emerging out of the sheds, were two shiny tenders. Anyway, these tenders belong to Flying Scotsman, a real-life engine LNER Class A3 Pacific. For those who don't know, Gordon and Flying Scotsman are brothers, and in the railway series, they met in the same story. In the model series, however, the crew didn't have budget to make the entire model, so only two tenders were made. What makes matters worse, Gordon doesn't even know who the Flying Scotsman is. Also, his second tender, which was supposed to be his auxiliary water tender, is actually a standard LNER corridor tender.
Now, if I had two tenders, said Gordon, I wouldn't need to stop so often and I wouldn't have to listen to silly little engines.
Diesel sidled up alongside.
Everyone knows that tenders are a mark of distinction, but I'm afraid that no amount of tenders will save you in the end. We diesels are taking over and we don't need tenders to make us important, not even one.
Gordon was most upset. He was feeling just the same the next day.
I'm not happy. I know, put in Duck brightly. It's boiler ache. It's not boiler ache, protested Gordon. It's... Of course it is, interrupted Henry. That water's bad. Your boiler must be full of sludge. Have a good washout, then you'll feel a different engine. Don't be vulgar, huffed Gordon.
Some studio equipment can be seen. And this sign has no name on it. Gordon backed onto his train, hissing mournfully.
Cheer up, Gordon, said the Fat Controller. I can't, sir. Is it true what Diesel says, sir? What does he say? That diesels are taking over.
Sir Topham Hatt told Gordon that it will never happen on his railway. Gordon felt better. On the other hand, Henry started complaining, but as he was banging some trucks, one of them bounced upwards.
I always work hard enough for two.
Henry's face is crooked. Duck whispered something to Donald. He was going to play a trick on Henry.
Henry, he asked innocently, would you like my tenders? Yours? What have you got to do with tenders? All right, said Duck. The deal's off. Would you like them, Donald? I wouldn't deprive you of the honour, replied Donald. It is a great honour, continued Duck thoughtfully, but I'm only a tank engine. Perhaps James might. I'm sorry I was rude, said Henry hastily. How many tenders have you, and when could I have them? I have 6, and you can have them this evening. 6 lovely tenders, chortled Henry. What a splendid sight I'll be.
Henry was excited all day.
Do you think it'll be all right? He asked for the umpteenth time. Of course, said Duck. They're all ready now.
The other engines waited where they could each get a good view. But James's front wheel is crooked. Henry wasn't a splendid sight at all, because his 6 tenders were very old, dirty and filled with boiler sludge.
Had a good wash out, Henry, called a voice. That's right, you'll feel a different engine now.
Henry was not sure, but he thought the voice belonged to Gordon. So those are all of the Goofs fought in Season 3 episode, Tender Engines. I hope you all enjoyed this video, my train lovers, and I'll see you next time.